Rev up your engines!
The man of peace, Scotty. I got an '05 Hyundai Elantra with 153,300 miles. The scent of rotten eggs flows through my car. What could it be? There's only two ways you can get the scent of rotten eggs. Well, three. The third one would be if somebody threw rotten eggs at your car and it got stuck in the vents. But, what are the odds of that? The two main ones are if your battery is sulfating. Your battery's got sulfuric acid, which is H2SO4, I believe. And when they go bad, they sulfate, and you smell the rotten eggs. So you could have a bad battery, or your alternator could be overcharging the battery, which then will smell like rotten eggs. So smell the battery. It could just be the battery. The other is, if you have bad fuel with a lot of sulfur in it, it will start screwing up the catalytic converter. Then you'll have rotten egg smells coming out the exhaust. So go to the exhaust and smell it, but not for too long. You don't want to get carbon dioxide poisoning. And then you'd know it was the fuel, and it might have ruined your catalytic converter. But that's what normally happens in cars. Unless you have enemies who are throwing rotten eggs in your car. Benny Boy 10, Scotty, are four-cylinder turbo engine cars reliable? I'm a six-cylinder guy, but I'm seeing the newer four-cylinders put a lot of horsepower. It depends on who's making them. Now, let's take the Lexus four-cylinder turbo. As far as I can see with my own customers' cars, my own research, I haven't seen any problems with them. They're excellent engines. They're well made. Take other companies like Chrysler, their four-cylinder turbos are pieces of crap. And realize you have to be logical when it comes to machines. If you have a four-cylinder turbo, the turbo rams more air in. It's going to wear the engine more by putting more pressure into it. That is just common sense. It's not going to last as long. Like I say, with the Lexuses, I haven't seen any problems. They run perfectly fine. It's to get more horsepower out of a smaller engine. And strangely enough, this is what's absurd about it, is the gas mileage ratings, turbos actually get better gas mileage rating because they run at a certain speed on a dyno. But most people, you get a turbocharge, generally people step on the gas more, accelerate. The turbo kicks in a lot, you get worse gas mileage. But the rating is higher because it's done by a machine that's conservative, not by a human being who wants to zoom along. So realize that if you're going to buy a turbocharged car, especially a four-cylinder. Land Rover's bringing back the Land Rover Defender in 2020. And there's a rumor out there that they're going to really do some stuff over and that they're going to work in conjunction with another automaker. All I have to say is they couldn't do any worse than what they're making now. They need all the help they can get. Knowing them, they'll probably partner with some other crony company like Fiat and Chrysler. You got two bad companies together, and look what happened to that. They just make two crappier cars than they even made in the first place. I'll be curious. They're not even saying who it is. I mean, they partnered with BMW for electric stuff, but now they're saying they might partner with somebody else. Of course, you have to realize that now, from what I've seen, the Chinese own half of the stuff. Tata bought them, and then the Chinese got half of that deal, and they're building Land Rovers and Jaguars. That's a package deal in China now. So I imagine it'll be a Chinese manufacturer of trucks out of them there, and that'll probably be a Chinese thing. Who knows? It might make them better. They couldn't be much worse than the junk they've been making the last decade. Nissan lack of quality comes to the forefront again. Nissan recalled over 165,000 vehicles because they were concerned that the key switches could wear out over time and they could shut off while you're driving down the road, and that they didn't properly test them after they were built. I always tell people, don't buy Nissans, especially since Renault took over, but that was almost 20 years ago when they took over. Their quality is just... Now they can't even test them right when they build them. Don't listen to any of the hype. They do spend an awful lot of money advertising in the United States. I read a little while back that Nissan sales were going up because they were advertising the heck out of them and trying to get better prices on the cars. They fooled a lot of my customers over the past few years. I personally have never owned a Nissan because I work on them. So what am I going to buy? I'm going to buy cars that break down the least. So I buy Toyotas. If somebody else comes out with the ones that break less, if my Toyotas ever wear out, I would buy one. I may never buy another car. I don't know. I'm 65 and these Toyotas are still running great. But a company like Nissan has proven poor quality, especially when you're talking about fixing things under warranty. I've had customers that take them a warranty repair, sometimes go back 3-4 times here in Houston. I would just stay away from the company myself. They can't even build right in the first place. They don't hold up. Don't waste your money on them. Andrew Hagen says, Scotty, how would you fix a sagging back ceiling? Okay, you're talking about the headliner, right? The headliner coming down. Me, I wouldn't even do it. I'd pay guys because I know body shops, and around here, they know a lot of Hispanic guys that do upholsteries, and they'll a lot of times fix them for $50, $60, and I just let them do it. I've seen guys try glue. They try like JB Weld, 2B epoxy, push them up. Some guys would try pins, staples, you name it. But really, if you price around, you find out there's people that do upholstery work cheap enough. You might just pay them to do it. But if you don't care what it looks like, hey, try pins, staples, anything you can. Depends on the setup. Some of them actually have foam you can staple in. Some of them it's metal to metal, and you'd have to epoxy the things in. Or some guys just say heck with it and they rip it all off and just have bare metal up there. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.